Imagine standing on a boat in the Mediterranean Sea, just off the coast of Egypt. The water is calm today, but beneath you lies an entire city. Massive stone statues, grand temples, shipwrecks frozen in time, and golden artifacts scattered across the seabed. This isn't Atlantis, it's Thonos Heraklion, a real Egyptian port city that vanished beneath the waves 1200 years ago, only to be rediscovered in the year 2000. How does an entire city just disappear? And what secrets did it take to its watery grave? Pardon the pun, but let's dive into that today. Hey, I'm Michael, and welcome to Hoodie History, where I explore the fascinating and sometimes mysterious stories of our past. Today we're travelling back to ancient Egypt to uncover the remarkable tale of Thonos Heraklion, a thriving port city that sank beneath the Mediterranean Sea and remained lost for over a millennium before being rediscovered in one of archaeology's most spectacular underwater finds. You might be thinking, an entire city underwater? That sounds like something from a movie. But this isn't fiction. This once mighty gateway to Egypt was very real, and its rediscovery is changing what we know about ancient Egyptian civilization. So grab your imaginary scuba gear and let's plunge into the depths to explore a city frozen in time. First off, let's talk about what this place actually was, because it had not one name but two. The Egyptians called it Thonos, while the Greeks knew it as Heraklion, after Heracles, whom you might know better as Hercules. Today, archaeologists use both names together, Thonos Heraklion. For centuries, this city was Egypt's main port for international trade before Alexandria was founded in 331 BCE. Think of it as the ancient equivalent of modern-day New York Harbor or Singapore, a bustling center of commerce where Egyptian, Greek, and other Mediterranean cultures converged. Located at the mouth of the Nile River where it meets the Mediterranean Sea, Thonos Heraklion wasn't just any port city, it was the mandatory entry point for all ships coming into Egypt. If you wanted to trade with ancient Egypt, you had to pass through Thonos Heraklion, pay your taxes there, and get official permission to enter the country. Talk about strict border control. The city was also a major religious center. It housed the magnificent temple of Amun-Gereb, where important ceremonies took place, including the Mysteries of Osiris, a ritual that celebrated death and rebirth. Pretty fitting for a city that would itself later die and be reborn through discovery. Now picture this, it's around the 2nd century BCE. The city is at its peak. Ships from across the Mediterranean dock in its harbours. The canals are busy with boat traffic. Markets buzz with traders speaking dozens of languages. The temple complex rises impressively with massive statues of Egyptian gods and goddesses, pharaohs and sphinxes standing guard. But here's where things get strange. Somehow this entire thriving metropolis vanished beneath the waves. Unlike Pompeii, which was famously destroyed in a single catastrophic day, Thonos Heraklion's demise was likely a slower process, though no less dramatic in the end. So what happened? Archaeologists believe a perfect storm of natural disasters sealed the city's fate. First, the land it was built on was unstable to begin with, a mix of clay and sand that was prone to liquefaction, which is when solid ground essentially turns to liquid under stress. Not exactly the bedrock foundation you'd want for your major port city. Rising sea levels and natural subsidence, that's the gradual sinking of land, started the process. Add in some earthquakes that likely triggered catastrophic liquefaction events, and you've got a recipe for a city that's literally sinking into the sea. By the 8th century CE, major portions of Thonos Heraklion had slipped beneath the waves. The final blow may have been a particularly severe earthquake, potentially followed by a tsunami. Whatever the exact sequence, by the 10th century this once great city had completely disappeared from view, swallowed by the Mediterranean. And then it was forgotten. Well, not entirely. Ancient texts mentioned it, but historians weren't even sure if it was a real place or just a legend. Some thought Thonos and Heraklion were two different cities. For over 1,000 years, it remained lost to the world, its exact location unknown. That is until 1999, when French underwater archaeologists Franck Goddio and his team from the European Institute for Underwater Archaeology began surveying Abu Qir Bay, about 2.5 miles off the coast of Egypt. They weren't specifically looking for Thonos Heraklion, they were searching for Napoleon's fleet, which had been defeated by Admiral Nelson in the Battle of the Nile in 1798. Instead, in the year 2000, they stumbled upon something far more ancient and significant. Imagine Godio's shock when, through the murky waters, he began to make out colossal statues, massive stone blocks, and the unmistakable outlines of ancient buildings. At first, they weren't even sure what they'd found, but as they continued their exploration, the truth emerged. They had discovered the legendary Lost City. Over the next 2 decades, Godio and his team would map an area of about 40 square miles, revealing the outlines of this ancient port in remarkable detail. And what they found was nothing short of extraordinary. Among the most impressive discoveries was a massive black granite statue of the god Hapi, the Egyptian deity of the annual flooding of the Nile, standing nearly 18 feet tall. Now, Hapi was usually depicted as a man with, how do I put this delicately, a prominent belly and chest, symbolizing fertility and abundance. But this wasn't just any statue of Hapi, it's the largest stone god statue ever found in Egypt. That's right, the biggest god statue in a country famous for massive statues was found underwater. Talk about hiding your treasures. They also discovered more than 700 anchors and 60 ancient shipwrecks, providing a frozen-in-time snapshot of ancient maritime activity. Gold, coins, jewelry, and bronze statuettes revealed the city's wealth. Stone inscriptions in ancient Greek and Egyptian hieroglyphics helped confirm they had indeed found the legendary Thonos Heraklion. One of the most significant finds was a large stone tablet known as the Stele of Thonos Heraklion. This remarkably preserved inscription from 380 BCE was a duplicate of the famous Stele of Naucratis in the Egyptian Museum. The text described tax regulations and confirmed that Thonos and Heraklion were indeed the same city, solving a historical mystery that had puzzled scholars for centuries. The underwater excavations also revealed the city's layout, a network of canals, harbours and islands with buildings constructed along waterways similar to Venice today. Perhaps most fascinating are the ritual objects discovered in the harbour. Archaeologists found specially crafted lead model boats and bronze containers that had been deliberately dropped into the water as offerings. These weren't accidents, they were part of an annual Egyptian ceremony called the Mysteries of Osiris. During this ritual, a special boat carrying an effigy of Osiris would travel from the Temple of Amun to the Temple of Osiris in the nearby city of Canopus. At a certain point, priests would drop these model boats and containers into the water as offerings to ensure Osiris's successful journey to the afterlife, and to symbolize Egypt's continued prosperity. The irony isn't lost on me that they were dropping model boats as offerings, while centuries later their actual city would join those offerings underwater. Talk about foreshadowing. The discovery of Thonos Heraklion isn't just an archaeological curiosity, it's rewriting our understanding of ancient Egypt. Before its discovery, historians knew relatively little about Egypt's maritime trade practices, how they interacted with Greek merchants, or even how their customs taxes worked. The sunken city has provided a pristine time capsule of this crucial period when Egyptian and Greek cultures were blending together. Today, efforts continue to excavate and preserve what remains of Thonos Heraklion. While only about 5% of the city has been thoroughly explored, each diving season brings new discoveries. Special care must be taken as these artifacts have been underwater for over a millennium, and exposure to air can damage them if not properly conserved. The story of Thonos Heraklion serves as a sobering reminder of our vulnerability to environmental changes. A thriving metropolis, the gateway to one of history's greatest civilizations, gradually succumbed to nature's forces. As we face our own challenges with rising sea levels and extreme weather events today, perhaps there's a lesson to be learned from this ancient city's fate. What aspect of Thonos Heraklion's story fascinates you the most? The fact that it was forgotten for over 1,000 years? The incredible preservation of its artifacts? Or maybe the eerie parallel to modern concerns about climate change and coastal cities? Let me know in the comments. If you found this underwater adventure interesting, please give this video a thumbs up, it really helps. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss more episodes from Hoodie History. Thanks for watching. Until next time, remember that history isn't just buried in the ground. Sometimes it's waiting to be discovered beneath the waves.